Welcome back to the session. In the previous session, we have seen the control structure. We started with the control structure where we have seen the general information. That is nothing but the control structure statement must end with a colon, and the first statement in the body of a loop must be indented, and all other statements must be indented by the same amount, just to show that those statements belongs to that block. And once when the statement in the block, if we want to come out of that block, the other statements has to be unindented. So it is just in the early other programming languages, basically we use curly braces to discriminate between the content which is inside the block and outside the block. Here we are using the indent. And if statements, so the example, and else if, where the keyword used is elif, and else, shorthand if at all, if we don't want the statement to provide it in the next line, in the single line itself we can provide. And we have a else statement. If the condition doesn't falls true, then the else part gets executed, and the conditional operator. Okay, then if we have multiple statements or the multiple conditions to evaluate, we can use and, or if at all if in the and, what happens is, if both the conditions are true, then only the statement gets executed. Whereas in the or, if any one of the statement holds true, the statement which is if one of the condition is true, the statement which is inside the block gets executed. And nested if, the past statement, sometimes we may not feel like providing us any statement under the if statement. We can't leave blank because it may throw an error. To avoid that, we can use past statement. Then we have seen how to accept the values from the user, so that can be used in the program. So next thing is while loop. With a while loop, we can execute a set of statements as long as the condition is true. So as long as the condition is true means how much ever the time the condition falls true, all the statements which is inside the while block gets executed. Here we can see an example, that is, we are printing I as long as I is less than 6. Why? Because the condition given here is I less than 6. So the first statement where 1 is initialized to I, so now the value of I is 1. Definitely 1 is less than 6. So it prints 1. Then, it is inside the block. So I gets incremented to 2. 2 is less than 6. 2 is getting printed. Then I is getting incremented to 3. 3 is less than 6. 3 is getting printed. Then 4. Then 5. It prints 5. Then I value becomes 6. So 6 is not less than 6. It comes out of the loop. So from 1 to 5, the value gets printed. So what we have to remember is, we have to increment I inside the loop. Else what happens, it will continue for the infinite loop, because I will be always less than 6 if we don't increment I. So let's see the example in the console. What I'll do is, I'll open a new file. will open a new file. I is equal to 1 while I is less than 6 and colon print I plus is equal to 1. This is nothing but an assignment operator which is equal to I is equal to I plus 1. So let's save the file while 1 was the first program. Let me run the program. Okay, so you can see the value from 1 to 5 is getting printed. When the value becomes 6, the condition, it false, so it comes out of the loop. If at all, if we don't provide, if we don't increment, so what happens is it will go to the infinite loop. See, as we have discussed, it will go to the infinite loop. The value remains same for I and it gets printed every time. So this is the first example for while loop. Okay, then the break statement. With the break statement, we can stop the loop even if the while condition is true. So in the previous example we have seen, until the value becomes 6, the condition was true and it was keep printing the value of I. But if we want to put a break somewhere, even though condition falls true, so in such cases we can use the word break. Here I values 1 is less than 6, it gets printed, and 1 is equal to 3, no, I value gets incremented. 2 is less than 6, 2 is getting printed, and this condition false. I get incremented to 3. 3 is less than 6, it prints 3. 3 is equal to 3, put a break. Later it doesn't. Okay, so let's see this in a console. So what is that? Well, okay, what I'm doing is, if I is equal to 3, break, the break, okay, sorry, break, then I plus is equal to what? See, the value when it becomes 3, we have put the break, even though condition is true. While condition is true, it's not printing 4, 5. Why? Because we have put the break when I value has become 3. Okay, so this is for the break statement. Next is continue. Continue statement, we can stop the current iteration and continue with the next. So somewhere we can put a break when the particular condition is true, and we can again iterate the statement. So in the earlier example, what happened was, when the value had become 3, let us come out of the loop. I mean, we have put the break. But here, when it reaches that particular condition, it puts what it does is it leaves that value and it continues with the further iteration. So we can see that example in the console. Let me do it here. See the statements. Okay, while what I'm doing is, let me copy, cut, paste this. If I value is 3, rather using break, I'll use continue. Continue, print So if you see this, you can see, I think the print value is 2 times. Let me remove this print statement from here. Okay, so yeah, 1, 2, 3 is not there, 4, 5, 6. So I don't know whether it is visible. Yeah, okay. You can see here 1, 2, 3 is not there, 4, 5, 6. So this is for continuous statement. Okay, let's continue with the thing. Else statement. So else statement, uh, if we can run a block of code once when the condition is no longer true. So after executing all the statements, previously what happened when the I value had become 6, it was coming out of the loop. Even though if you want some statement to be executed once when it becomes 6, so we can make use of else here. So let's do it with the example. Okay, I saw 1 while I is less than 6, print I. Okay, print I plus 1. Here, what we are doing is, yes, just print that statement. Yeah, else print I is 6. Okay, okay. Some error has occurred. Why? Because it is not, it doesn't belongs to that. Doesn't belongs to that block. Okay, you can see here. Let me check that also. See, you can see here. So it has printed from 1 to 5, but when the value has become 6, it has printed the else part. Yeah, this is follow. Sorry, not follow. Okay, continue. Else. Okay, this is about while loop. So in the while loop we have seen the simple example. We have printed the values from 1 to 5 and the value had become 6. The condition is false and it has come out of the loop, and we have used a break statement even though the condition is true, and if you don't want to iterate that block further, we can put a break with the help of a keyword break. And if we can stop at the particular condition, and we can iterate later then with the help of continuous statement and else statement, even though once when the entire blocks gets executed, and further if you want to continue the execution, we can do it with the help of else statement. So let's see some more example. So let's create a program. Let's create a program for finding the sum of natural number. Okay, for that I need a variable n. and I am sum of natural number up to 10. I don't want much. And I need a variable called sum, and I'm initializing it to 0, and I need a counter variable that is I, so which I'm initializing to 1. Then while I is less than or equal to n, n is 10 because I need the values till 10. I want the loop to iterate only till 10, not more than that, because we're calculating the sum of natural numbers up to 10. So 10 is nothing but n here. So what should happen? What it should do is sum is equal to sum plus I. So we need addition, addition of natural numbers, right? Sum of natural numbers. Then it has to, it has to increase the value, right? I value should get incremented. I plus is equal to 1. So once after adding all the numbers, I want the value to be printed. The sum is, what is that sum? Which holds the, sum is a variable which holds the final value of sum. So that is getting printed. So it is saved. Let me run that program. Okay, well, I'll share that. So you can see here, the value of sum is 55. As you can see here, the value of sum is 55. So in this way, we can make use of while loop, and let me give one more example using while. One more example to illustrate the use of else with while loop, because we have used it. We have shown the thing. So to continue with that, let me show an example with the else. So what I'll do is I'll take a counter is equal to 0, while counter is less than 3, print. So I want it to be printed as inside loop, and I want the counter value to get incremented. So counter plus is equal to 1. Okay, now once everything gets while loop, false, the condition goes wrong, the false, and the condition fails, it should come out of the loop and it must print what? That's outside loop or inside else. Okay. We save the program and run the program. Okay, invalid syntax. Why? Why? Because there is no colon here. So we have to take care while running the program. Okay, I think it's not visible. Let me share that. Yeah, you can see here. So according to that, counter value was 0 initially. So 0 is less than 3. So it has come inside it has entered the loop. So it has printed inside loop, and counter value gets incremented to 1. So 1 is less than 3. Again prints inside loop. Then counter value becomes 2. 2 is less than 3, and it prints the statement as inside loop, and counter value becomes 3. 3 is less than 3. No condition, goes wrong. Condition fails. So it comes to the else loop and it prints inside else. So this is how we can make use of while loop. So we can use break, continue, else, all these statements in while loop. And for your information, there's no do while in Python. So the things which we have seen in this video is